tried to study the Vedic philosophy, Upanishad philosophy, Buddhism, Jainism, Tirkural, Shaivism, Vaishnavism, Alvar, Nayanar, Lingayat. I just tried and the Western philosophies from Thales to Marx. And Quran also, Bible also. Okay, where is the solution for the 21st century's challenges? The Western philosophies have failed. Islam has failed. You are looking at the byproduct of the Islamic philosophy. I am not against any religion. The Islam philosophy, the Arabic meaning of Islam is peace. Islam ka arth hota shanti. But the byproduct of the Islamic faith, we are looking how it is translating into the action in the whole world. They should adhere to the real principles of Islam, then things will be clearer, better. If you go through the other philosophies, I am not going in detail about the tenets of the philosophy, but in brief you will find that all philosophies have failed in totality to resolve the issues ahead. Which are the challenges? Challenges is the war, challenge is the terrorism, challenge is the climate change, challenge is the crunchy capitalism, the widening gap between rich and poor, very cruel economic inequality. This is also the challenge. Even hunger and poverty is the major challenge, and the most disastrous challenge is the climate change, ecological disaster, which may happen. And it is not my prediction, it is a prediction of all scientists of the world. Because in Western philosophy, we have developed a model of the development focused around the human being, human-centric. We neglected all other components of the nature, and the Western philosophies, you will go through, the crux of the philosophy you will find that all components and ingredients of the nature are to serve the human being. The nature is your servant. The divine has authorized you, the God has authorized you to exploit the resources for your development whichever you want, you wish. This is the philosophy of Western. And this philosophy has deteriorated the planet as a whole. But in our philosophy, our democracy is beyond the human being. Isha vasyavedam sarvam yat kinch jagatyam jagat teri takten vunjita ma gradha kasva siddhanam. In the whole cosmos, each component has the same essence, Isha Tattva. It means Mata Bhumi Putro Ham Pratibhya. The earth is our mother. We never thought about mother to be exploited by us. Rather, we have to adhere to the philosophy of Ten Takten Bhunjitha. You can use for your sustenance and livelihood. You can take the resources from the nature, for different components of the nature, but not like an owner. You must always be grateful to the nature, Mother Nature, and take only to that amount which is minimum required for your sustenance, not for luxury, only for sustenance. This is the philosophy of Bharat. You will definitely agree, if you go deep, which values should govern the 21st century's mind. The only hope is the Bharati values and Bharati Sanskriti. If you go on just following this model of development, capitalistic model, a communist model, a evolutionary model based on the social stratification and the racial divisions, hatred between countries, hatred between communities, hatred between societies, hatred between faith, belief system, then the whole world is going to collapse. You can go move with the science and technology to the other planets, but we will fail to connect with the human being and the other components of the nature. The only hope is Bharatiya Darshan. That's why Indian knowledge system is required to be integrated in the modern education. This is the fundamental philosophy I wanted to advocate in that. And again, there is some confusion. I am sorry to say, I found many right-wing ideologists who claim to be Bharatiya in perfection. Sometimes they become rigid to only one text. As a Bharatiya, as a learner in Bharatiya Sanskriti, I am not the master of the Indian culture, but as a beginner, as a learner, which I found, the whole cultural journey, if you go through, first comes hypothesis. If you go through Ved, our rishis observed the whole functioning and dynamism of the cosmos, planets, stars, everything, and some curiosity cropped up in their minds. Then they thought elegance and gratefulness to the component of the nature for their survival and existence. They critically thought about that, examined, made some hypotheses, some experiences, and then in a poetic verses, the mantras came. अवतार हुआ उनका, मंत्रों का अवतरण हुआ. But in other texts also, if you go through the even Vedic period, 4 Veds, Vedanga, then Brahman, then Aranyak, then Upanishad. But Western philosophers also conspired to divide us. They say Buddhism and Jainism is a revolt against Vedic culture. Because Western philosophers tried to divide us on the line of language, on the line of faith, on the line of geographical division, on the line of race. Or for that they did lots of effort to engage their educators, to engage their archaeologists, to engage anthropologists, historians, a gang of philosophers and the new knowledge creators to impose upon us as if we were never a nation. We were divided races, always conflicting with each other. हमेशा एक दूसरे से लड़ते रहे हम तो एक थे ही नहीं. If you go through the culture, if you say we are a cultural nation, so then try to again divide us on the line of language, on the line of faith. But they always denied the underlying unity within that. If we go through Buddhism and Jainism, definitely you will find many things in the functional part different from other faith. But if you look at the current of the changes in the philosophical structure, right from Ved, Brahman Grantha, Aranyak, Upanishad, if you very analytically go through the changes in the philosophical flow, then you will find the Buddhism, Jainism is also once a contemporary philosophy, not revolting against Vedas, rather differing with certain rituals and systems, beliefs of Vedas. Not revolt, reforms. You cannot say reforms are revolt. They divided us on this line. Even they divided on the basis of census. Sikhism also not the part of the Bharatiya Sanskriti. Hinduism or Vedic religion, Sanatana Dharma. They differed from that. They engaged Mr. Risley. You will be surprised. On the basis of physical forms, different parts of the body. Risley divided the Bharatiya population into 9 categories. Aryans, Scythian Aryans, Indo-Aryans, Iranian Aryans, Dravidians, Aryan Dravidians, Austro-Dravidians, Dravidians, so many categories on the basis of what is the size of the nose, what is the size of the eyes, what is the size of the matha, head, what is the height, how is the shoulder, such a baseless parameters has been designed by those people to divide us, to weaken our freedom struggle. And the same on the language side also. We became a different community on the basis of language. Because Europe was having one, they claim, they are having one culture, one religion, Christianity. But on the basis of language, the Europe has been divided into 27 nations. So they thought India may also be divided into at least 22 nations on the basis of languages. So they conspired. And sometimes our enlightened great ancestors of those periods also agreed on some point. They didn't think what is happening with us. But it was not their fault, because they were also educated with the 1835 Education Act of Macaulay. He deliberately planned a curriculum design as we are designing as per National Education Policy right now, and before it also we have planned 2 times, 3 times. They deliberately get Indian text out of the curriculum. भारतीय जितने भी शास्त्र हैं, वो चाहे वैदिक शास्त्र हो, चाहे संस्कृत शास्त्र हो, चाहे तमिल शास्त्र हो, चाहे वो कन्नड़ हो, चाहे वो मलयालम के हो, चाहे वो पाली की जातक कथाएं हो, चाहे बुद्धिज्म, जैनिज्म, सिखिज्म, किसी को भी उन्होंने कहा सब बाहर करो. और क्या कहा कि these are rubbish. They said about our Vedic rituals, which have lots of scientific temper, basic science, applied science, mathematics, astronomy, plant science, engineering, metalwork engineering, shipbuilding, watershed management, dam constructions, agricultural equipments, Maharshi Parasar Samhita regarding Krishi, Shaunak Shastra regarding Viman, Sarvaswa regarding 108 yantras by Maharshi Bharadwaj. But they denied there is no engineering and technology, no science in Bharatiya text. There is health, wellness and psychology. So many enlightened persons are here. Any of you can just compare about the psychology of Freud and the psychology embedded in Yoga Darshan, psychology in Sankhya Darshan. You will find the highest order of analysis of resonance of body, mind, soul. If you will find, that will be the Patanjali Yoga Darshan. No foreign psychologists have yet reached to that stage. In those texts, we find Niti Shastra, Sukra Niti Shara, Kamandak Niti Sara, so many ethics embedded in Ved, Upanishad, Ramayana, Mahabharata, but they were all get out of the curriculum. So many public administration. You get Brihaspati Samhita, Arthashastra by Kautilya, even Porul by Tiruvalluvar, the second part of the Tirkural, but out of textbook, out of content. Not a single pride of our cultural heritage was given place in our curriculum after 1835 Education Act by Macaulay. So after that, every child, every learner was trained as per their design. Only Maharishi Dayananda, Swami Vivekananda, Maharishi Aurobindo, Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya, many of them revolted against 1835 Act, but it did not materialize during that period. Post-independence era also, mostly we followed that model only in the education system. Now we have to be cautious. If we want self-confident, self-reliant country in each domain of the life, definitely we must be equipped with modern science, technology, artificial intelligence, all kind of new sciences emerging in the whole global arena. But we must be deep-rooted with our Bharatiya values. Then only we can be a good individual, well-rounded, rational, ethical, compassionate, empathetic, with courage, resilience, with creative imagination, and having the capacity to resolve the conflicts and challenges ahead in the world, if we are deeply rooted on the values disposition side with the Bharatiya values. Many people may claim that this can be in a co-scholastic and other activities also. But you know, you can experiment, but that will result in fragments. If you put the whole things in one platform in a very systematic and systematized bouquet of the educational systems, because curriculum has many components, not only the syllabus and textbook and pedagogy and assessment, but school, environment and culture and the community engagement is very important in education system. Then we have to train the minds of the guardians, even communities, school leaders, everybody has to be trained, aligning, having consonance, having harmony and synchronization with the thought process. Yes, Indian knowledge system is the only hope for the global safety. But for that purpose, for becoming Vishwaguru, we have to reform first ourselves. There are many apprehensions in the minds of a larger cross-section of the society. If we are talking about Indian knowledge system, is it the reinforcement of the distortions prevalent in the society? The society which claims Sangakshuddham, Sampadaddham, Sambho Manansi Janatam, Deva Bhagam, Yatha Purve, Samjanana Upaste. How that society, which is rooted in this philosophy originally 1,000 years back with their ancestors, how can that society can be allowed to practice social cruelty on the basis of caste, on the basis of gender, on the basis of reason? How can we afford? If we are talking about the whole component of the cosmos, move with us collectively, we believe in the collective wisdom, then this should also be reflected in our practices also. So that's why they have some apprehension in their mind. We are talking about Bharatiya Mulya, Asthapana. Whether it will not be a more reinforcement of these distortions and cruelties and discrimination and stratification in the society? No. Through the Bharatiya Shiksha Board, we will re-emphasize, nurture the learner, that every component of the nature you must be compassionate, empathetic, sympathetic, and you should not discriminate with anybody on the basis of birth or background. And this is our philosophy. This is not Bharatiya Shiksha Board philosophy. This is the real Bharatiya philosophy. Whichever things are appearing in the society, that is the distortions and deficiencies of the functional part. And in each word, in each philosophy, you will find over the time some functional distortions come up. But we have to back to the original core essence of our Bharatiya philosophy, and all these things were, we are here in the pious Tamil land, where if you go through the Tiruvalluvar, Jain claims he belongs to my faith. Buddhist text, you will find many descriptions that he belongs to the Buddhist philosophy. Saivism, Vaishnavism claim Tiruvalluvar to their own common faith system. What does it mean? Everybody believes in Tiruvalluvar philosophy, that is the most secular philosophy. Not discrimination on the basis of birth, on the basis of economic background. Every human being is equal. Not every human being, rather each component of the nature must be treated with justice, with compassion, with empathy. Then only the whole cosmos will survive. So this is the Indian knowledge system. They should also not apprehend about that. I am just talking about that matter, that others also should not feel that this is the reinforcement of any kind of distortion to the society and social divisive forces reinforcement. Somebody have questioned the communist in our country. They ask some questions. Why Indian culture? Why culture? Because they say religion is opium. As per the communist philosophy, religion is opium, because they don't know the Bharatiya Dharma. In fact, it was not their fault. They were born and brought up in the Europe, where the religion was entirely different from scientific temper. It was entirely different from any systematic analysis, because there were no Vaisesik Darshan and Nyaya Darshan. So they were thinking that Copernicus was punished, Galileo was punished, Bruno was punished when they said heliocentric, because Bible claims the sun revolves around earth. So they were born and brought up in that atmosphere. So for them, religion may be opium. But in our context, we practice dharma, dhareti dharma, the attributes which we should have in our behavioral science. That is dharma. It is their philosophy. But here communists also claim, why Indian culture? Indian culture, I have confronted many questions by the communists regarding this. I answer them, look at China. Why China has established 370 centers across the globe to preserve and promote Confucianism? Why Japan has opened many centers to promote Shintoism? Why Russia has opened different centers to preserve, protect, and enrich their own heritage across the world, just to claim that we belong to a community, to a system, to feel pride in their identity that we are the members of a long civilizational journey. They are doing. But in this country, many people ask question, why? Though our culture is the most scientific one, and yes, finally I am saying, we should also be very cautious. When we talk about any culture, we should not be conservative, because knowledge creation is always a dynamic process. It is not stagnant. Whatever has been created by our ancestors in 2000, 3000 years back, it will be in totality followed by us without any correction, without any reform. It is also somewhere we are regressive. We should be a progressive citizen, and learner must be equipped to assimilate received wisdom by the ancestor, accrued wisdom by himself in the present, assimilating of these two wisdoms, analyzing those with context of the modern contemporary need, and then synthesizing with the modern science and technology and other knowledge created by the other parts of the globe. This capacity has also been developed in the learner, not the blind follower. As Gautam Buddha said, Appadipo bhava. You know all your knowledge created by ancestors, but try to analyze, assimilate, critically think, which is the best suited to the modern context. That should be a progressive dynamism of any cultural journey. Bharatiya Shiksha Board believes in it. So these are the major important courses. Now, lastly, in only 10 minutes, I would brief about the approach of our content, approach of our pedagogy, approach of our assessment, where many of the principals and teachers present here may be interested in that. So definitely our board is completely aligned with the NCF, number one. National Curriculum Framework is the classification framework and a blueprint for the Bharatiya Shiksha Board also. Because this board has also been set up by the Government of India, we are the child of the Government of India. We have to adhere to the principles laid down by the Government of India. And fortunately, with the support of Education Minister and many public intellectuals across the country, our board has been duly notified and granted equivalence with all other state and national boards of India. We are equivalent to every state board and every national board. If you go through the website of Government of India, Department of Literature and School Education, you will find on the website, along with CBSE, BSB is also exhibited on that website as a National Education Board and set up by Government of India. You will find there the word set up by the Government of India. As CBSE gets set up by the Government of India, we are also set up by the Government of India, and NIS is also in the same line. But ICSE is also written there on the website. But you will find for ICSE, it is written, it is a private board, national board, private. It is not government. But we, national board, as a school, government set up school education board. Primarily, I would like to focus in this mind. With due diligence of legality, the Government of India framed a model bylaws. I would clear the legality of the BSB. Before it, I was just focusing on the philosophy of the BSB. It undo the evils of Macaulay. This is a Amrit solution. Bharatiya Shiksha Board as a Amrit solution to the poison of Macaulay's education.